Hello, everyone, and inside today's Locked On Canadians, we are talking about that wild game in Montreal, Habs Bolts, more injuries, and so much more, all coming up inside today's show.
Locked On Canadiens, your daily podcast on the Montreal Canadiens, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 809 of Locked On Canadiens. We are your daily Montreal Canadiens podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where you get your team every single day. Thank you for subscribing wherever you get your daily podcasts. And thank you if you are watching this on YouTube for subscribing as well. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Remember to make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. I am your host with the most anger towards officials at this current point in time. We will get to them in our second segment. I promise you we will get there. I am Scott Matla. You can follow me on Twitter at Scott Matla as well. And if you are not, I don't really blame you because my particular brand of insanity is not for everybody. Let's get into things. It is Tuesday night when I'm recording this. It is 10 after 10 p.m. The Montreal Canadiens have just defeated the Tampa Bay Lightning 3-2. Really fun game at the Bell Center. Truly a very fun, hard-fought game here. Just the right amount of nastiness until a certain point. Good goals, good effort. A game the Canadiens used their opportunistic nature to beat the Lightning. The Canadiens came out strong and they pulled away, gave themselves a cushion to allow themselves a little bit of error room to come away with the win. And a big part of the reason why this team looked so good tonight, the return of two players to the lineup. Kirby, Dach, and Brendan Gallagher were both in the Montreal Canadiens lineup tonight. To make the corresponding move, Anthony Richard went back to the Laval Rocket. I do not know how long he will be there at this current point in time. More on that in our second segment. This was a game that the Canadiens looked totally different from the group that played last week. This is a game where Kirby Dach made an immediate difference in the lineup. And I haven't looked at natural stat trick. The hockey stats cards after the game, all those bars are going to the right side, save for a few. And you know what? That's all I need to see here. He makes such a difference. And he played this game primarily on the wing, on the top line with Nick Suzuki and Raphael Harvey-Pinard, which, you know what? He doesn't have to take the center role there. He doesn't have to do as much work as he's coming off of whatever this mysterious lower body injury was that he had here. And that's okay. He looked great. He scored the opening goal of the game off a great play from Nick Suzuki and everyone else there. Got on the board. Mike Matheson got on the board, and then I am missing one in here, and it's going to bug me until I think of it, so you'll have to pardon me on that front. Oh, it's Jonathan Drouin, who actually had it was the game-winning goal until the last minute. The Canadiens won 3-1, didn't they? I forgot the score of this game. That's not a thing that I like to do all that much, but it is what it is. What can you say? I want to double-check this, that I got this right here. No, it was 3-2. Okay, so I'm not crazy. I mean, I'm a little crazy. Anyways, the point being, the Canadiens, while not being the more dominant team across the board here, played well enough that they should have earned those 2 points, potentially easier here. And I'm a fan of how this game turned out for them. And I'll tell you why. Tankathon brought it up right after the game. Thanks to the Flyers beating the Panthers, already good news because the Panthers pick now gets worse. The Flyers maintain their distance in front of the Canadiens. The Arizona Coyotes were up 2-1 when I sat down to record this, and the Anaheim Ducks are currently playing. The Canadiens did not lose or gain place in this spot here, with the Anaheim game still pending. The Canadiens are still sitting fifth in the lottery, and they got a win out of it. That's important. The return of Kirby Dach and Brendan Gallagher to this lineup is important Jonathan Drouin bouncing back after having to sit on the bench last game and watch the entire thing is important. Samuel Montembeault continues to be very, very good. He's not an elite goaltender in this league. I think no one is calling him that, but Samuel Montembeault is making a real strong case to be the Montreal Canadiens starter next season. There will be more on that. There's still 11 games left at this point, I believe. 10 or 11 games left at this point. Jake Allen has also looked a lot better. But Samuel Montembeault has been dialed in the last couple of games. Even when he loses, Florida game notwithstanding, that was just a tire fire in space in a black hole that is being hit by a meteor or something of a game. Samuel Montembeault has looked so much different from last year. Now he's not carrying an injury. He's not playing behind a group that is defeated, so to speak. This is not a great Canadiens team. They coming into this game are 1-7-2 in their last 10 games here. And you know what? They lost a bunch of those by 1 or maybe 2 goals. Samuel Montembeault is keeping them in games here. And he's not the only unexpected piece going on right now. Michael Pezzetta continues to make me try and second guess, where does he fit in? Because I look at him playing right now. He was everywhere. He was hitting Nikita Kucherov. He ran over Corey Perry. He's physical within the right means. He is not straying outside the rules there. He is right along that fine edge of, I'm going to pester you. And it worked. He got officiating aside, which we will get into. I know I keep saying that we will get into that. He's doing everything he needs to keep a spot. Alex Belzile is. Even Chris Tierney, who is not a great player by any means here, and I don't think anyone is expecting that of Chris Tierney, but he's playing very good fourth line hockey for this Canadiens team here, and they're allowing Martin St. Louis to not have to worry about who's there. Raphael Harvey-Pinard, another strong game. Jesse Alonen did not play tonight, which is unfortunate. He's out with a non-COVID illness. Not much you can really do about that. Denis Gurianov with an assist on Drouin's goal. Really nice pass there. I love seeing how this game turned out. Yeah, I know people want them to lose, but this game looked like a complete Canadiens effort. And yeah, it was close, but Tampa Bay is one of the best teams in the NHL this year. Struggles or not for Tampa Bay, they're still a good team. And the Canadiens, their penalty kill looked strong. They looked smart with what they were doing. I love the effort that I saw from them tonight. And I'm hoping that even if they're not winning games, this is the effort we see. However, now comes the bad news. We have more injury updates because every time we get a little bit of good news, we must immediately get soul-crushing bad news. And that we will get into, and why I'm mad at the NHL officiating, which we just call this locked on yelling at refs at this point, is all coming up in our next segment. But first, as I mentioned, today's show is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. The NBA season is starting to wind down, and it's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and because new customers can now get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's in bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. And if you download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, it's safe, super easy to use, and secure, so you never have to worry about that. So you can be betting on the money line, point scores, threes drained in a game. And if you're feeling lucky, you can combine all of these things together into a same game parlay and increase your winnings on any single night. All you got to do is go to fanduel.com/lockedon for your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets. That's fanduel.com/lockedon to learn more. And remember, make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA, and us here at Locked On. And as always, please, please, please gamble and bet responsibly. We are back here at Locked On Canadiens. I am your host. I am Scott Matla. Now is the part where I worry the dog who is trying to sleep on the couch behind me, my girlfriend who is trying to sleep upstairs, and our neighbors who I don't know if they know that I do a hockey podcast yet. It's okay. If you're hearing this, I know you're a Bruins fan. Hello. The Canadiens got injury news today. Anthony Richard went down once Kirby, Dach, and Brendan Gallagher returned to the regular lineup today. Had to. He was an emergency recall. He was always going to go back to the Rocket as soon as the team got even remotely healthy. Jordan Harris skating in a no-contact jersey. Okay, slowly making improvements here. He's still out for a little bit ahead in the future there. That's good. Kirby Dach and Brendan Gallagher back in the starting lineup. Both looked good. That was my pen. Looked good in this game. Great. Josh Anderson might have blown up his ankle because the officials didn't call a holding penalty on Mikhail Sergachev. Not great. Caden Gooley's season is also over. He has a high ankle sprain after colliding with the boards in Florida. And again, I ask, why was he in this game at all after colliding with the boards there? Why was he allowed to play on that? Don't love that at all. There's no penalty called on that play either. But we're going to focus on what happened on Tuesday night. Canadiens get the puck out of the zone. Josh Anderson takes a clearing feed, tries to juggle it forward as he's skating. He is trying to fend off Mikhail Sergachev with a block with one arm as he tries to steer the puck towards the net. Sergachev loops under his arm. He doesn't quite slew foot him, but he definitely gives him a little bit of a tug back. Puck goes wide of the net. Anderson goes crashing. Right skate, the blade of that, hitting that goalpost there. Hits that goalpost at full sliding speed. His ankle bends at a direction that I don't recommend ankles bend based on what I learned in my kinesiology courses in college, which, wow, I've been out of college almost 10 years, and that might be the first time I've gotten to use my kinesiology degree on this hockey podcast. So take that, Mom and Dad. I told you it was worth something. No call on the play. Anderson is sitting in the net, seething in pain at one end of the ice, and it took the officials a good amount of time to stop the play when there is a seriously injured player on the ice. Anderson did not skate off under his own power, had to be helped off by a pair of teammates and a trainer. No pressure on his right foot whatsoever. To cap this all off, Mikhail Sergachev was called for nothing on the play. Not interference, not holding, not tripping, nothing. The officials got together to talk about this and went, what are you going to do? And just kind of let it go. And I am not asking for Mikhail Sergachev to be thrown to the wolves, to be tried in The Hague, or anything else. I'm just asking for a 2-minute penalty on the play. It's an unfortunate outcome at the end. It's a garbage penalty because you know you got beat inside and you tripped the guy up. If he was planning to angle Anderson into the goalpost to shatter his ankle or whatever the heck happened, he should be doing astrophysics and not playing hockey in Tampa Bay. It's an unfortunate outcome, of course. I am not trying to punish Mikhail Sergachev for what happened to Anderson's ankle. I am very mad that nothing was done in that moment because here's the thing. If Anderson goes out and the Sergachev is out there, he was still out there with the net empty for the Lightning, and he contributes in some way, shape, or form to a tying goal, or the Canadiens then go on to lose in overtime, how furious do you think everyone would be here? Just give him a 2-minute penalty and send him to the showers. Who cares? It's the end of a game. I'm not asking for the book to be thrown at him. I am very upset about this because once again, the Montreal Canadiens have a good thing happen. Kirby Dach comes back and he scores a goal and everybody's happy. Brendan Gallagher's back for the first time in 32 games. Samuel Montembeault plays well. Jonathan Drouin scores a goal. Mike Matheson gets another goal. The Canadiens are playing an exciting game. They're going to win, sure, but everything's going to be fine. And then Josh Anderson's ankle goes poof. Just like everyone's hopes and dreams last year. Poof. Into dust. The only difference is there isn't a guy wearing a bad suit sitting in the press box watching it all happen now. A very good year for Josh Anderson and a resurgent second half. Like a complete effort from Josh Anderson every night. He looked like the guy that they traded for, that they signed to this $5.5 million a year contract for 7 years. He looked great. He wore that A proudly on his chest. He has his warts. We've discussed that he has his warts. He topped that 20-goal plateau, was probably pacing to maybe come near his career high there and make a good impact for the Canadiens down the stretch. Probably go to play for Canada at the World Championships if he felt up to it. And now we don't know. They already announced he's out. He's not traveling with the team. Nothing you can do about that. But goddamn if it isn't upsetting that a penalty that wasn't called, and again, not asking for them to have thrown Sergachev out of the game. If they did, I wouldn't have blamed him. But I'm not asking for that. I can't ask for that after the fact. I can't fender bender my neighbor's car. I haven't hit your car in case you're listening to this. But just the little things, it feels like this team is cursed that they gave up everything for that cup run. Paul Byron, career likely over. Shea Weber's career is over. Carey Price's career definitely over at this point. Tyler Toffoli traded. Arturi Lehkonen traded. Yoel Armia, don't know. Corey Perry has to play in Florida. Like, that's pretty cursed in and of itself. And then last season and this season, injury. The team MVP, the guy who's going to win the Molson Cup this year, is going to be long-term injured reserve on this roster. And it's so tough that even the smallest of moral victories are taken away. And I'm sick of watching these things happen. Again, I'm not asking for the officials to throw Sergachev out of the game. But this wasn't their only error in this game. And we're going to pack this one into the final part of this here. Michael Pezzetta hit Nikita Kucherov, put him into his bench, clean hit. Kucherov glares at him. Yeah, he's going to take that $9 million cap hit from the bench, and he's going to get you. And then on the same shift, Corey Perry gets a pass in his skates. Pezzetta lines him up right through the chest, floors him. And then Big Pat Maroon comes in to step in for his teammate, as he is known to do, as expected, and he jumps Michael Pezzetta. And in this, Pezzetta, defending himself, gets a 2-minute penalty. Fine. Maroon gets a 2-minute penalty. Fine. That's it. If you go in and you are instigating a clear attempt to fight somebody and you aren't given extra time for that, I don't understand what we're doing here. Otherwise, no real complaints on the game. Yeah, Gurianov probably tripped Ross Colton. Colton sold it a little bit. He's not the only NHL player to do that. Just little things like that, and then it ends with Sergachev tripping, holding, throwing, yeeting Anderson into a goalpost. It leaves a bitter taste in your mouth, and it's like, what did the Canadiens do to deserve this? And I know if you're Leaf fans, you just said, oh, they exist. Yes, I get it. Yeah, you don't like us. We don't like you either. Whatever. It's an unfortunate end to a fun game, and I'm tired of saying that so many times this year. The game was great, but, Jesse Alonen grew a third arm out of his chest, and, Cole Caulfield found out he's allergic to shellfish or something. There's always bad news. It feels like you can't celebrate something good happening without something bad immediately following up behind that. And oh boy, if you want bad news, I have bad news for you. We're going to talk about the NHL's new jersey producer, not this season, not next season, but the season after that. And that's coming up in our next segment. But first, no matter how last game went, anytime you take the field, you've got a shot at greatness. So give it your team the best shot at winning by recruiting more MVPs with Indeed. If you're hiring, you need Indeed, because Indeed is the hiring partner where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. And Indeed is the only job site where you're guaranteed to find quality applications that meet your must-have requirements or else don't pay. And instead of spending hours on multiple job sites hoping to find candidates with the right skills, you need one powerful hiring partner that can do it all. And Indeed partners with you every step of the hiring process, from finding great talent through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. And with Instant Match, as soon as you sponsor a post, you get a short list of quality candidates with resumes on Indeed that match your job description, and you can invite them to apply right away. Plus, you only pay for quality applications that meet your must-have requirements. I got to say, as someone who was looking for a job for the longest time, Indeed was the best possible thing, and it delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, according to Talent Nest. So right now, start hiring right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post on Indeed.com/lockedon. The offer is valid through March 31st. So go to Indeed.com/lockedon to claim your $75 credit before March 31st. Again, that is Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Okay, so if you haven't had enough of me being angry about things in the sport of hockey, you are going to absolutely hate this. But I'm sure a lot of you are on the same page as me. The NHL at the crack of 7:45 this morning announced they have a new jersey partner. Adidas' time is winding down as the official jersey maker of the NHL. And who did the NHL go with? Did they go to CCM? Did they go to Reebok? Did they go to Nike like most other sporting leagues? Under Armour even. Russell, starter brand. Any of that? Nope. And nope. It's exactly all of you know at this point, if you've been following along, they went with Fanatics. And here's the thing about Fanatics. They are everywhere. They are a part of every major sport because they mass produce a lot of the things, the t-shirts, the less than on-field authentic brand jerseys, hats, sweatshirts, all those things are usually Fanatics branded through all the major sports leagues. You cannot get away from them at this point. As someone who used to buy the Adidas branded Habs player shirts and etc., it is Fanatics or nothing at this point. It is almost a total monopoly, which is currently one of the big issues with them, is that there is no option unless you get like Mitchell and Ness or something in terms of like throwback gear. There is not much else offered. The NFL, you can buy Nike branded jerseys or the Fanatics ones. That's fine. But in the NHL, they signed on with Fanatics. They produce their second tier of jerseys. The, Fanatics line ones are usually, I think, $129 for a custom printed, player name jersey, where the Adidas ones start at $179 as a blank one, but are much higher quality. Like the reverse retro I paid for was $279 American. It's a lot of money, but it's all stitched. The quality is good. And there's that word, quality. If you look up things on Reddit, on Twitter, through social media, you will find horror stories about Fanatics. My jersey came in spelled wrong. My logo came in upside down. No, I'm not kidding. At Hanger Hockey on Twitter, Jets fans, someone tweeted them a photo of their Jets hat they ordered from Fanatics. The logo is literally upside down. We've seen names spelled wrong. The quality of the merchandise just falls off. Maybe it's Ian. He bought one of the t-shirts, a Kakaniemi one, which, sorry, buddy, rough choice. But we all make mistakes, says the guy with a Charles Houdon jersey upstairs. And it's already fading and peeling. They don't last. And you're charged the same amount that you were for the higher quality merchandise at this point. Like, are you excited with Fanatics taking over where a Sidney Cosby jersey will pass to Evgeny Milkin, but they're picked off by Jack Hoosier in the neutral zone before they go down the other way and shoot on Tristan Jaramillo because they can't get anything right? The thought of this, and the thing is, it's not like a short-term contract. The Adidas one wasn't here super long. I want to say, 4 or 5 years? 5 or 6 maybe. Time has no meaning. This deal is for 10 years. That's a decade of this. And the stories and everything about Fanatics are horrifying. And this is who the NHL went with. Every other sports league in North America, Nike. In Europe, soccer teams, Under Armour, Macron, Kappa, all these other teams have a quality sponsor. None of these teams are sponsored by bloody Fanatics. Yeah, Fanatics branded gear are great for people who can't afford the higher end thing there. I am never going to take that away from people. This is now the top tier option for hockey fans. Are you going to spend $279 on a jersey that's going to show up 4 months after they said it would with something potentially spelled wrong and peeling off? No. And it's the NHL again. Just they don't get it. The playoff seeding, nothing's better than that. Everyone loves it. No. We have the best officials in sports. No. We're going with Fanatics. Anyone who has bought jerseys can tell you, no, all you've done is just increase the value in the counterfeit market at this point because they're probably better quality. It's so upsetting to see a league that is so close to almost understanding why it isn't this mainstay in sports America. I look at that clip at ESPN going, well, no one cares about the Rangers. Well, it's hard not to see why at this point. The league itself doesn't seem to be taking itself too damn seriously. And I look at this, it's actually great because now I don't have to spend money on hockey jerseys. They're vaulting the reverse retro program, so I don't need to worry about potentially buying one of those. What do you even say at this point? It's going to be great when all these Adidas jerseys go on sale at the end of next year, and I can, stock up on those if I want to. Carly, if you're listening to this, I'm not actually going to do that yet. So I just don't understand why this was their thought process. And I know why it is. They're trying to save money, and they know Fanatics is everywhere, so people are going to end up buying it anyways because they don't have another choice. But it is so deeply upsetting to see the NHL once again not listen to their fans and pick an option for a decade. And as we know, deals that last more than 10 years in the NHL and the sport of hockey always turn out super good. What do you mean Rick DiPietro's contract was bad? No. Anyways, I don't love this Fanatics deal from a fan perspective. The quality of the merchandise has not been good in the past. It's not showing any signs of increasing and getting any better. It's going to be a wild, wild ride there because the minute that people start getting these jerseys and they don't turn out the way they're supposed to, people are going to be real, real mad, and the NHL is going to have a big, big problem on their hand. But we have another year until that starts. But the fact that they announced this as early as they did in the morning and not in the middle of the day when there are even more eyes on this is very telling. That about wraps that whole thing up. As always, please follow us on Twitter at @LO_Canadiens. You can follow myself at Scott Matla. Subscribe wherever you get your daily podcast because we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. You get your team every single day. Please subscribe on YouTube. Ring the bell to get notified every time we post a brand new episode. It means the world to us. Folks, we will see you all next time.